one. So in this session, we're going to talk about myths, right? Obstacles. What stands in the way of transitioning new leaders, right? And we're only going to touch on a couple of these, but I think they're important ones here, Mike. So why don't you dive into this one real quick, and we'll go to the
Uh,
next.
sure. And again, I hate to backtrack a little bit, but again, this bullet is here specifically to describe the days of Art Moore, which I described briefly before. Art Moore was able to take care of his small section of the of the business organization, and he was able to do it completely on his own. He knew everyone; they knew him. Heck, he probably coached most of the kids of the stakeholders and customers that were involved in the service territory that he covered. I mean, and they all had a great deal of confidence in Art Moore to get things done. And if Art Moore said it was going to take 4 days, then there was no way it could take 3. There was a heck of a good chance it wasn't going to take 5. It was going to take 4 days for the organization to recover from the event. We all know that those types of days are kind of over because organizations have grown exponentially, both in number of employees and both number of locations that they are probably operating out of. They are probably being viewed more from a overall standpoint than they are from their specific performance and their small part of the organization. So that being said, we have things now that like spans of control that we take care of with the incident command system that have sort of divvied up all of those duties. You know, that one leader, that one individual is no longer responsible for logistics, operations, finance, planning, and the list goes on and on. Those have become segmented so that those groups can work collectively together for the overall good. And this is so that larger events, which seem to come along more frequently and more severe these days, the larger events can be dealt with as effectively as those smaller storms. So it's important for a new leader from day one. It is important for that new leader to understand that they will probably fail, and they will most likely fail if in fact they try and get everything done themselves. They cannot possess all of the specific knowledge of people, tools, and methods and processes. They cannot possibly possess all of that, especially on day one. So the first thing for that leader to understand is they're not going to be able to do it themselves. They are going to be very reliant on others to learn things from, to understand those inputs and outputs, and more importantly, who are those customers and stakeholders and what are their expectations.
Okay, very good. Next up.
Again, the myth, we have a plan, so we should be all set. A leader will fail miserably, time after time, if they think that memorizing all the pages of their emergency or crisis, or it goes by a lot of names and titles, plans, if they commit them 100% to memory and think that as long as they've done that, they are ready for anything. It's like, how do I compare it to understanding the playbook for a football team that I've coached, which I did for many years. I could understand all the plays and I can understand all of the positions. But if I didn't understand how certain individuals executed in those positions, I was bound to fail. So it's not only understanding the plan, but it's also rehearsing that, because you practice, you play like you practice. And that's something I've always imposed on my players. You're going to play like you practice. If you're going to show up and be lazy and not put the work in practice, it's going to show on the field, right? And I could sit them down and I could educate all of them on the playbook, what their roles are, make sure everybody understands that. But until you get those cleats on the turf it's going to be impossible for